Welcome back, guys. How's it going? Saturday in the bipolar Ohio state of weather. We are working on the 04 Chevy 3500. We got the drive shaft out, as you can see. That big long mammo jammo. 7/16 gets these off. I'm gonna spin you around here. Center support bearing is completely shot. It's dead. It's completely grenaded. It's just got all sorts of slop in there. The piece here, it was just bouncing around in that, so it's getting replaced. I've never particularly done this, but everything I've seen on YouTube makes it look pretty easy. Just got to get the bearing popped off the drive shaft. You can see this yellow mark. Generally speaking, there's a thing called phasing, and the drive shafts are in a phase. If you get them out of phase, you could end up with a vibration. So to try and prevent that, I have basically drew a big yellow line all the way down the drive shaft from end to end. So when I put it back up, hopefully I put it back up in the exact same spot on the yellow lines. All right, let's get this thing out from under here and work on it. Okay, so in your guys' case, yours might have like I don't know, some sort of metal zip tie or clamp of some form keeping yours on there. Mine does not. So once you pop that free, slide your slip yoke off. I just left the rear half here. This is the front half going to your transfer case or transmission. So yeah, this is what we got to get off. It's completely broken. It sounds good. It's not completely, the bearing is okay, but the this part of it's completely shot. It's broke there. It's pretty much broke all the way around except like 2 or 3 spots. That's the only reason it's still together. I'm going to put this on my 20-ton Harbor Freight press. I got a carrier splitter. I'm just going to put it on here, press it off. If you don't have that, you could use, well, a hammer, and the bearing is somewhere in here. I think this is a rubber. It's like right in the middle. I've seen guys just come in here with a piece of flat stock or anything of metal, kind of come here at an angle, and they just beat it off. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. You know, you can only work with what you have. So I'm going to try the press route first since I have it, and if it seems to be going well, I'll take a quick snippet video of that. Otherwise, I will be doing the manhandling it and hammering it off. Okay, fast forward here to my press wasn't long enough. So when that was on the touching the ground, and I was only to like here, and I was like, well, maybe if I put my press up on like some 5-gallon buckets and all these other shenanigans, and I just wasn't in the mood for it. Been under the weather for a few days. Today's kind of first day I'm actually got a little bit of energy, so I'm spending it all on this, right? Anyway, so said, what is this, 4-pound hammer or something? I don't know, it's Harbor Freight. Like I said, flat stock, decent piece. What is that, about it? 3/16. So I've already got it working off here, just like I said, just coming in from the side and then beating it off. As I say, you can do it from either way, whatever works best for you. This is on here like this, and it sits in there a little bit. I don't think it makes a difference. That popped off eventually. So we're almost there. I just got a couple more whacks and she'll be off. And then we get to go spend some money. All right, there we go. A couple more whacks, like I said. Got that off. Here's the bearing. It's ripped all the way around. This is all completely missing. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 little pieces of rubber still keeping it together. So I'm going to do it lightly with some emery cloth or whatever. I guess we'll call it polish this. You don't want to sand it. You don't want to remove metal. Just want to clean up the gunk. Like a Scotch-Brite maybe. That's probably what I'm going to grab. Get that shined up. Get a pair of dial calipers. See what that is. Because if you go on the parts site, there's going to be a few different options. And you need to know what that diameter is. I could guess and say it's around 2.2 inches. I don't have a tape measure close by, but that's what I'm going to guess right now. So we're going to get that cleaned up. Alrighties, we are back from the parts store. This is what we got. O'Reilly's. We're going to get this back on here. Got it all nice and cleaned up pretty good. Use some Scotch-Brite. You get that on Amazon pretty cheap. I got some little ones, and I got obviously the bigger ones are next to it. Slide this on there. Get it to set about there, and then I got to find something that'll match up to this inside one here, so I can tap it in there. So take a little bit of persuasion, but beat it off. We'll beat it off. Sorry, still a little sick. All right, and then this isn't necessarily, I mean, it's pretty thick metal. It's not necessarily an install tool because it is the same inside diameter as in there. When that's in there, it sticks out like this. And the whole purpose to this big piece of metal is for this right here. So this will be zip tied there, and then this zip ties to this piece. So that's what the whole point of this is. Big chunk of metal. It is what it is. So not an installer tool. I mean, unofficially you could. I don't think you could at all anyway. Nope, that'll beat up, that'll beat up the bearing the wrong way you don't want it to. And that doesn't line up good enough, so. Alright, find me something that will line up good. Alright guys, so I ended up having this little bearing race. It ended up being the right size for this. And then I flipped it the other way. It ended up being the right piece to knock that part in. Doesn't really help, but I threw a little lube on there. One guy online used an 1.5 inch piece of PVC, schedule 40. He was able to, you know, tap it on there with that. So you could also have gotten away with probably like a punch. Not a chisel, a punch. And you could have just worked your way around it. It went on there easy, I guess we'll say. Didn't take a whole lot of work. So I'm done with this for now. I have to wait for my transfer case seal to come in so I can actually put it in. Side note, if you did not mark your drive shaft when you took it out, on the 2500 and 3500s, the drive shaft is factory keyed. This is you'll see it's like the spline single, 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 double spline, single, single, single. So it only goes in one way. You can't, that's it. You can't mess it up. It's like a USB thumb drive. It only goes in one way, even though you'll try it 3 different ways wrong. If you're tech savvy, you'd get that. But anyways, that's it for that. We'll continue. I'll close out the video. Well, for you guys, it'll be like 2 seconds, but for me, it'll be another day. Okay, so Since right now a big old ranch hand winch bumper or any form of a winch bumper is not necessarily in the budget, because if you've ever looked up winch bumpers, full brush guard replacements, etc., you know they're north of $1,000 easily. So we just went on to E-Trailer. We got ourselves a receiver hitch for the front. It was like 200 bucks. Bolt that up on the front, and then I'm going to buy a winch on Amazon for about $200 to $300. So now we're at about $500, and throw it on a winch cradle, which you can get for about 60 bucks. So, and probably buy like a Anderson quick connect, run that so I can run that to the battery. So now we're about 600 bucks. So am I saving money? Yeah, because I know the bumper I was looking at was around $2,200 to $2,500 or something like that. I don't know, it's been a while since I've looked, but that's the next project is we're putting that on, which is all of 4 bolts. Okay, so since right now a big old ranch hand winch bumper or any form of a winch bumper is not necessarily in the budget, because if you've ever looked up winch bumpers, full brush guard replacements, etc., you know they're north of $1,000 easily. So we just went on to E-Trailer. We got ourselves a receiver hitch for the front. It was like 200 bucks. Bolt that up on the front, and then I'm going to buy a winch on Amazon for about $200 to $300. So now we're at about $500, and throw it on a winch cradle, which you can get for about 60 bucks. So, and probably buy like a Anderson quick connect, run that so I can run that to the battery. So now we're about 600 bucks. So am I saving money? Yeah, because I know the bumper I was looking at was around $2,200 to $2,500 or something like that. I don't know, it's been a while since I've looked, but that's the next project is we're putting that on, which is all of 4 bolts. Okay, here we go. There it is installed. I've got factory tow hooks. One bolt went there, bolt there, and then there's the one there. Just a 2-inch receiver, 9,000 pound straight pull. Same thing on this side. Got the 2 bolts. That's it. It's ready to go. Just got to get the winch and the cradle ordered, and we're all set. So now if I can have a winch on the front of the truck, I might even just leave it stay on the front and just get one of those like anti-rattle devices for like a hitch, so that way there when it won't rock. So yeah, that's it. I got that hitch installed. I think I used I got 17 or 18 to get the old bolts out and then 19 to put the new bolts in. Torque was supposed to be about 110 foot-pounds. However, there was no good way for me to get in there with a torque wrench, so I just snugged it up the best I could and called it good. It's not coming out of there. Bottom one, just hand tightened it real good. It's probably at least 110 without a problem, so cool deal, guys. Another one done.